Welcome back to 80K Aquatics, and today's video is why I rehomed 3 of my fish. I rehomed 3 of my fish recently, and they are my Synodontis lucipinnis Dwarf Petricola Catfish and 2 of my Harlequin Rasboras. I had to rehome them because I realized I couldn't care for them properly because of mistakes I made when getting them. I didn't properly research the fish when getting them. For example, I didn't know that the Synodontis lucipinnis needed to live in groups, like schools, like corridoras, but I only kept one of the Synodontis lucipinnis, causing mine to be super shy and hide in his cave for most of the time, which is unlike them. They usually swim it out in the open in groups. This uncharacteristic behavior was almost definitely due to stress from not being in a group, which is why I rehomed the Dwarf Petricola Catfish. Why I rehomed the Harlequin Rasboras was because I already had 3 pork chop Rasboras, and I thought that Harlequin and pork chop Rasboras were the same species, but just with a different name. But I didn't realize that they were slightly different species until after I had got them, which again is due to a lack of research on my part. So the Harlequin Rasboras were most likely not as happy to be schooling with the pork chop Rasboras as they would have been if they were with Harlequin Rasboras, even though pork chop Rasboras are very similar. So that is why I rehomed the Harlequin Rasboras. When I went to the fish store to rehome those 3 fish, I got 2 more pork chop Rasboras to add to my school of 3, and there will be a tour of the fish store called Fantastic Fins coming out soon. Background footage I have been showing you is footage of the 2 new pork chop Rasboras acclimating. The moral of this story is definitely to research your fish before you get them, so you know what you're getting into, and you don't have to rehome them later on. Impulse buying and not researching before getting fish is a very widespread problem in this hobby, which is why you see people getting monster fish that are young but then grow way too big for their tanks, and that's why places like Ohio Fish Rescue exist. So that is why you must always research your fish before getting them and make sure they can fit in your tank and go with your water parameters and go with all your other fish that are living in the tank currently. I'm now going to put the 2 new pork chop Rasboras into the tank, and then I will be showing some footage of them with the other fish. These 2 new pork chop Rasboras have been acclimating for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm about to put them into the tank if I can ever get this rubber band off. I'm not very experienced with getting rubber bands off of fish bags, but I finally managed to do it. And I am now going to pour the water out into a net, and so the fish get caught in the net, and then release the fish into the tank. You can't really see the net in the bucket in this shot because the camera was too high, so sorry about that. Can't really get a good angle. I now have the fish in the net, and I'm going to be placing them into the tank. And these 2 pork chop Rasboras are way smaller than the 3 other pork chop Rasboras that I have, which made me realize how much that my 3 fish have grown. Going to a fish store, it's sometimes kind of cool to see how much the fish that you have grown since you got them, because they grow so gradually. It's like you don't really see that much change, you don't notice it. But when you go to the fish store and you see all the young fish, you're like, wow, they really grew. And so I was kind of worried that the smaller fish would get beat up on by the bigger fish, like the pork chop Rasboras, the bigger pork chop Rasboras, and the lemon tetras, but I wasn't that worried because I know they're all schooling fish and they typically get along very well. So, and yeah, they got along fine and they immediately started schooling, which was really cool to see. So now you can watch this footage of them swimming around together that I took, and there will be some background music playing. But thanks for watching the video, and see you later.